Do you ever feel unseen, even in a crowded room? A room full of noise and people. Do you feel alone? A quiet isolation, a feeling of being on the outside, looking in. It is an ache, a deep, unspoken weariness, the feeling of a lack, a thirst, a hollowness in the soul. We are craving connection. We are craving to be truly known. We are craving what the world calls love. But the love the world offers it often feels conditional. It feels temporary. It feels like something we must earn, something we must strive for. You know, like we have to deserve it. And so, we strive. We perform. We try to be worthy of being loved. And still, at the end of the day, when the clamor fades, the quiet disquiet returns, we are left still feeling empty, still feeling isolated, still feeling the lack. What if the love we are truly craving is not something we must achieve? What if it is not something, it is someone? What if this love is not a reward we must earn, but a gift we are invited to receive? This is the divine invitation. It is the first call from the heart of God Himself. He speaks directly into that space of your loneliness, into that weariness. In the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 11, He does not shout. He whispers, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." He sees you right now in your isolation. He sees your striving. He sees your thirst. He sees the weariness you carry, the heaviness of feeling unloved. And He does not condemn your emptiness. He invites your emptiness. He says, "Come." And then He gives us the how. He tells us the secret to this love, to this rest. He says, "Take my yoke upon you." This is the divine exchange, and it's hard to admit, but we do not realize it. We are already wearing a yoke. We are wearing the yoke of loneliness. We are wearing the yoke of striving, the heavy, crushing unrest of trying to be good enough to be loved. It is the burden of performing for acceptance, the pressure of earning our place at the table, the burden of hiding our true selves, afraid that if we are truly known, we will be truly rejected. This yoke is heavy. It is breaking your soul. And Jesus, in His infinite mercy, says that yoke, it does not fit you. It was never meant for you. Let us make an exchange. Take my yoke upon you. Give me your yoke of loneliness. Give me your yoke of striving. And in return, take my yoke. His yoke is easy. His burden is light. Why? Why is His yoke easy? Because when we are in His yoke, we are no longer alone. We are walking with Him. His yoke is the yoke of belonging. His yoke is the yoke of a relationship. His yoke is the yoke of being fully known and fully loved at the exact same time. The yoke of the world demands performance. The yoke of Christ offers presence. The yoke of the world is striving. The yoke of Christ is resting. We cannot strive for love and rest in love at the same time. We are invited to choose. The first invitation to finding the love that fills our emptiness is to stop striving, to stop searching for what has already found you, to stop and to come. to consciously unhook that heavy, bruising yoke of loneliness, and to step into the light, easy, perfectly fitted yoke of walking with Him. This is my first invitation. This is where true love begins, not as a feeling we chase, but as a person who welcomes us home. Come and find His rest. And as your heart settles, even for a moment, a question rises. To come is the first invitation. It is a single, holy moment of turning, a recognition that we need His rest, a willingness to exchange our heavy yoke for His. But this is the question that whispers in the quiet morning light. How do we stay? How do we remain in this place of love when the world is so loud? When the old feelings of unrest we just laid down call out to us? The peace we found in that first moment, it feels so fragile. The feeling of being known, it begins to fade. The yoke of loneliness that we thought we exchanged, we find ourselves lifting it right back onto our shoulders. Why? Why is it so hard to simply be, to be loved? Our mind, it drifts, it wanders, back to the evidence, back to the proof of our isolation, back to the disquiet, back to the lack. We have come, but it's hard to admit. We do not know how to stay. The prophet Isaiah understood this gentle struggle. He knew the secret to a soul that is truly at rest. In chapter 26, verse 3, he writes this profound, quiet truth. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are stayed on you, because they trust in you. Perfect peace. In the Hebrew shalom, a peace that is whole, complete, unbroken. A soul that is no longer lacking. And who receives this peace? Those whose minds are on you. That word stayed in the Hebrew samak. It means to lean upon, to prop, to anchor. Our minds are gentle anchors. The quiet question for us is, what are they anchored to? Is your mind anchored to your loneliness? Is it anchored to the memory of that rejection? The feeling you get when you're scrolling through social media and feel unseen? When our anchor is in these shifting sands, we are tossed back and forth. We are pulled by the current of our own agitation. God whispers, pull up that anchor. Pull it out of your circumstances. Pull it out of your feelings and stay to anchor it on me, on my unshakable love. This is the practice of staying. It is the active, gentle choice to lean our entire mind on Him. We see this very peace, this anchored love demonstrated by Jesus Himself. Think of that quiet story in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 4. Jesus and His disciples are in a boat, and a furious squall comes up. The waves are breaking over the boat, so that it was nearly swamped. This is a picture of our inner unrest, the waves of fear, the waves of loneliness, the feeling of being overwhelmed by our isolation. And where is Jesus? The scripture says, Jesus was in the stern, sleeping on a cushion. This is the most perfect picture of shalom. He is not asleep because he is unaware. He is asleep because he is at peace. His mind stayed on his Father. He knows he is loved. The disciples, meanwhile, their hearts are full of fear, of agitation, of unrest. They are anchored to the waves. They wake him. They shout, "Teacher, don't you care?" This is the cry of our own lonely heart. "God, don't you see me? Don't you see my emptiness? Don't you care that I am alone?" Jesus wakes. He rebukes the wind. He says to the waves, "Peace, be still." And the wind died down, and it was completely calm. Then he turns to them. "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" Think about this. It is possible to have Jesus in your boat and still have a heart full of fear, a heart that feels unloved. Why? Because their minds stayed on the storm, not on the master of the storm. They were anchored to their fear, not to the love that was right there with them. True peace, shalom, is not the absence of the storm. It is not the absence of lonely feelings. True peace is the presence of the King. It is a staying mind. So how? How are we invited to practice this stayed mind? The Apostle Paul gives us the divine prescription, the how-to for this gentle peace. In Philippians chapter 4, he writes, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition with thanksgiving, present your requests to God." That is the gentle ingredient. With thanksgiving. Why? And I get it, because thanksgiving is the key. It is the action that moves the anchor. Anxiety and isolation anchor our mind on what we lack, on the emptiness. Thanksgiving anchors our mind on the provider, on what we already have, on the King, on the love that is present. When you sit and you feel that ache of loneliness, you are invited to practice thanksgiving. "Lord, I feel so unseen, but I thank you that you are the God who sees me. Thank you that your love is my anchor." When you feel that you lack that pressure from work, you practice thanksgiving. "Lord, I feel so empty, but I thank you that you are the bread of life. Thank you that in you I am complete." This practice, this gentle turning of the mind, is how we stay. And the promise and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. This peace, it guards your mind from the lie of loneliness. It protects your heart from the emptiness. It keeps you stayed. And as you let your soul exhale, we feel that peace. But we also recognize the noise is still there. We have come to his rest. We have been invited to stay, to anchor our minds on him. But there is a reason the anchor feels so hard to set. There is a reason our minds do not want to stay. It is because the world we live in is loud. The yoke of loneliness that we carry does not let go easily. It has a sound. It has a volume. It is the inner static, not just the clamor of the city or the traffic, not just the pull of the news or the screen. It is the inner disquiet, the agitation of our emptiness, the sound of our striving, the echo of our fear, the unrest of our isolation. And you know, this is the great struggle of the searching soul. We come to him, we try to stay, but we are weary, we are exhausted, we are overwhelmed by the agitation, the inner static. We are distracted by many things. And in our distraction, We cannot hear the one thing that matters. This is the third invitation. It is not an invitation to do something. It is an invitation to stop. It is the invitation to be still. But how? How do we be still when the world is not? When our minds are not? It's hard to admit, but we are afraid of the silence. We are afraid of what we will find in the quiet. We are afraid of the emptiness. So we fill our lives with doing, with striving, with agitation, like keeping the TV on just for background sound. We run from the stillness. We run like the prophet Elijah. We find him in 1 Kings chapter 19. He is not in a place of victory. He is in a place of total exhaustion. He is burned out. He has run. He is fleeing the threats of the world. He is distracted by his fear. He is sitting alone in a cave, hiding, weary, empty, isolated. He is like us. When the striving, that endless hustle culture, has finally worn us down, he is waiting for God to speak, to show up, to do something big, to prove his love with a loud display. And God tells him, "Go out and stand on the mountain. The Lord is about to pass by." And then the noise begins. A spectacular, terrifying display of power. First, a great and powerful wind. A hurricane shattered the rocks. This is the wind of our anxiety, the wind of our chaos, the sound of our fear. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, there was an earthquake, the shaking of the foundations, the shaking of our security, the shaking of our own plans, the uproar of our world falling apart. But the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake came a fire, the consuming, visible, powerful fire, the fire of our passion, the fire of our effort, the fire of our doing, the clamor of our righteous action. But the Lord was not in the fire. This is the secret. We are like Elijah. We are looking for God in the drama. We are looking for him in the uproar. We want him to join our striving. We want him to affirm our anxiety. We want a loud answer to our loneliness. And God, in his infinite mercy, refuses. He waits. He waits for the agitation to stop. Then after the fire, what came? A gentle whisper, a still, small voice, the quietest thing imaginable, the opposite of the wind, the opposite of the clamor, the opposite of our fear. And that is where the Lord was. When Elijah heard that he covered his face, he knew he was ready. The soft whisper did what the wind, the earthquake, and the fire could not do. It brought stillness to his soul. It met him in his isolation. And I get it, here is the gentle truth for us. We cannot hear the whisper of his love if we are addicted to the static of our loneliness. We cannot hear the one thing that matters if we are distracted by the many things. The voice of God is quiet. It speaks in stillness, and it can only be heard in stillness. This is why the psalmist writes in Psalm 46, it is a command, a promise, an invitation. Be still. That word in Hebrew, Rapha, it means to cease, to let go, to drop your hands, to stop striving, to stop running, to stop performing. Be still and know that I am God. We cannot know Him as our love. We cannot know Him as our refuge. We cannot know that we are seen until we are first willing to be still. This is the invitation to create space, to find a solitary place, to turn down the volume of the world and the volume of our own aching heart, to be still and to know. And in this stillness, in this sacred quiet, the final truth begins to surface. We have walked this gentle path. We have been invited to come to find His rest for our striving. We have been invited to stay, to anchor our minds on His presence. We have been invited to be still, to silence the static of our fear and find the whisper of His love. But there is one final invitation. It is the secret that holds all the others together. You know, it is the answer to the question that haunts our quiet moments. The question that whispers when we fail. Why? Why, after all this, do I still struggle? Why do we come and stay and be still? And yet, tomorrow we wake up and find ourselves falling right back into that old emptiness, that feeling of lack. Why does loneliness always return? Why does the agitation of our striving feel so loud all over again? It's hard to admit, but it is, because we are still trying, we are still striving, we are still performing. We are still trying to earn what He is freely giving. We are treating love like one more task on our list, like another item on our wellness app. We are trying to manufacture a feeling of belonging. We are trying to achieve wholeness. And that is the final yoke of striving that Jesus wants to break. The yoke of self-effort in our spiritual lives. In His final, quiet moments with His disciples, He gives them the key, the secret to effortless belonging, the secret to lasting rest, the secret to fruitfulness. In the Gospel of John, chapter 15, He doesn't give a command. He gives an invitation to connect. He whispers, "Abide in me, and I in you." As the branch cannot bear fruit by itself unless it abides in the vine, neither can you unless you abide in me. I am the vine. You are the branches. This is the freedom we have been searching for. This is the antidote to our isolation. This is the rest that stays. Look at the image. A branch does not try to produce a grape. A branch does not strive. It does not worry. It does not fear that it is unloved. It does not check to see if it is worthy of the vine. A branch has only one job, one simple, gentle purpose: to stay connected to the vine. It simply abides. It rests, it receives. And the life, the nourishment, the sap, the shalom, the love of the vine, it flows through the branch, naturally, quietly, effortlessly. And the fruit is the inevitable, natural, quiet result. What is the fruit He is talking about? Paul tells us, the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace. Love is a fruit. Belonging is a fruit. Peace is a fruit. It is not something you do. It is something that grows when you stop doing and start being. Being connected. This is the ultimate secret Your job is not to produce a feeling of love. Your job is to abide in the one who is love. Your job is not to create your own wholeness by your own strength. Your job is to abide in the one who is your completeness. We are invited to stop striving to be loved and just abide in the one who is your love. How do we abide? And I get it. Abiding is not another task. Abiding is the posture of the soul. We abide by coming every morning, not with striving, but with surrender. We abide by staying our minds on Him when the lies of loneliness call our name. We abide by being still, by choosing the whisper of His love over the static of our emptiness. Abiding is the relationship that holds all the invitations together. It is the connection that starves our isolation. It is the life of the vine flowing into us and producing the fruit of a peaceful whole soul. This is the journey to love. This is the gentle path to a cherished soul. First, we must come. We are invited every single day to trade our heavy, crushing yoke of striving for the light, easy yoke of walking with Jesus. Second, we must stay. We are invited to anchor our thoughts on the master of the waves, not on the waves of our loneliness. Third, we must be still. We are invited to have the courage to turn down the volume of the world inside and out, to find a solitary place and to hear the gentle whisper of the Spirit. And finally, we must abide. Love is not a formula. It is a fruit. It is the natural, supernatural result of staying connected moment by moment to the true vine who is Jesus Christ. You cannot control the storms of life. The feelings of loneliness may come. The disquiet will come. But you can always anchor yourself to the one who is your love. True love is not the absence of isolation. True love is the presence of the King. Which of these 4 invitations is your soul whispering to you today? The call to come and trade your yoke, the call to stay your mind on Him, the call to be still and listen, or the call to simply abide? Let us know in the comments below. Your story is a whisper of hope for someone else still feeling isolated. And if this time of quiet has helped to fill your soul, please subscribe and share this message. You never know who in your life is feeling unseen, scrolling in the dark late at night, and needs to be reminded of where true love is found. May the Lord of Peace Himself give you peace at all times and in every way.